Good day, CG Vapor here. Recently, I came across this Overwatch cinematic, and what's fascinating me the most is actually how the hair behave and how dynamic it look. So I figured out a way to achieve something similar, if not close to it, inside Blender using its built-in hair particle system. Step 1, we need to get a tracer model somewhere from the internet, and apart from this fishy Russian 3D model website, and I have absolutely no idea why it's come up the top search result from Google. Luckily, I ended up with this 3D model from a guy named Remade, and huge respect to this guy, we got to use this 3D model on this project. Now that we get our tracer model, we can go ahead and open it on Blender. Be sure to uncheck the low UI such that it will not mess with our default interface. Let's select all the unnecessary stuff and hit H to hide all of that and focus more on the head. Quickly, I came into realization that this model is optimized for the game engine, so the part where the head and hair intersect is empty. And guess what? The next thing you know, I already did the retopology, and I'm gonna open the blend file to show you. As you can see, the highlighted part is the treatment that I gave her. I know, that is not the greatest topology, but it will get the job done, trust me.
That can instantly patch, bond, seal, and repair.
Whew. All the preparation work have been done, and we can now take a look at the hair. Different part of the hair is airtight, so we can just Ctrl L to select the length faces, Shift D to create duplicates, then separate by selection. Here, I basically duplicate the hair strand and isolate. As you can see, the edges that points towards the tip of the hair intersect and vary in length. This will result in the hair particle growth in all sorts of directions, and ideally we will want the hair particle to resemble a single big strand of hair. Okay, now we face the problem of finding a geometry that first match the hair shape, second, have clean topology, third, all the edges to the tip have the same number of segments. Keep in mind that this hair already gives us the profile and the length, so it's just a matter of finding a way to combine these two things to recreate the geometry. Most of us already know that we can use a curve to turn into a tube to create pipe or wire, but actually you can also use another curve to define the profile of the tube. Even greater is that we can actually adjust the scale of certain vertices to adjust the width of the tubes to create some shape like hair. Okay, now back to our hair. We can actually select the boundary loop and merge at center to get the middle edges. And then we can work our way up to the end of the hair by Ctrl+ to expand the selection, select the boundary loop and merge at center again. Oh yes, this brings back the traumatic memory of grinding 9 to 6 stuck in repetitive work, but fear not, we can resort to the code and be happy again. Just drag from the bottom to open up a info panel and a text editor, type in import PPY and then copy the command that we just did and place it step by step. And this is all the code that you need. Once you type in all the code, here comes the satisfying part. You can watch the hair get strength to an edge from the tip all the way to the root. However, when it comes to 3D work, even if it gets you 99% of the way there, you still need to make some manual adjustments. Simply adjust the vertices to a position just beneath the skin. You will know you are on the right track if you wiggle the wheel around to check its placement. As the cherry on top, you can actually enable an add-on called Loops Tools to fine-tune the spacing between each vertices in the curve. Now hit A to select all the vertices, right-click and select Space to distribute them evenly on the curve. Next up, we need a curve to define the profile of the hair. This edge right in the middle seems representative enough, so we're gonna keep it. Since Blender like to align the center of the profile curve based on his origins, so we need to set the origins to the geometry. Next step, go into the edit mode and select the first vertex, Shift S to slap the 3D cursor to it. Switch back to the object mode, select the profile, Shift S again, but this time selection to 3D cursor. Right now, these two edges are treated as meshes in Blender, that's why we need to convert them into curves. This immediately unlocks a new tab over at the property panel. Here, you can bevel the edges and define which curve govern the profile shape. Let me do a quick comparison of the original hair strand and these beveled edges to show you that they are actually in the same ballpark. It is now time for some tinkering here and there again. Remember to turn on the proportional editing. Now use Alt and S to scale down the tip vertices, and the rest should scale proportionally as well. Go back to the object mode and scale up the profile curve. This should increase the overall perimeter of the profile. If you finally settle on the shape of the hair like I did here, we should convert it to mesh so that we can further edit it. Hit 2 to limit the selection to edge only, and hold Alt to select the whole edge loop. Ultimately, we want to convert it into curves. Be careful, it is the one with the S, not the one without. But just like you can't get the iPhone 4S before the release of iPhone 4, similarly, Blender only allows you to convert it into curves unless it is a curved object. Last but not least, we have to tell Blender what surface the hair is sticking onto. Then go into the scope mode and you will find this very well hidden and very secret menu that allows you to convert into hair particle. And yes, seems like nothing has changed, but this is just how Blender optimizes viewport performance. Unless we are working with tens of thousands of hair, let's just match the display amount to the random one. And this part took me quite some time to figure out. Normally, you would think when you scale up the head model, the hair particle also scale up, but nope. Let's just say Blender has his own way of doing things. So here we are, scaling up to find his right proportion. If you go too far, you'll start to see the hair divide into different groups which resemble the hair edges previously. Let us play with the value a little bit. And now we are talking. All we left to do now is to make the tip sharper. Usually if we want to further edit something, we either convert it into mesh or apply the modifier. And there is already a button in the modifier tab to allow you to convert into mesh. Just a few details to ensure that you won't make the same mistake that I did. First, set the transformation pivot point to bounding box center and open up the proportional editing. Scale down all the vertices except the one near the root. Like what we did previously, give it some space by using the loop tools. Next thing, just go through the necessary stuff to change it into a hair particle. Me personally don't want any more exception because the video is too long, but solving this problem is what makes us grow and get better at Blender in it. So let's face it, all the edit disappear when we turn it into a hair particle. As it turns out, we just have to apply a subdivision modifier to increase the density of the mesh, and that somehow influence the hair particle also to make it more precise. For the rest of the hair strand, I will show you the time lapse of me working on it. To those who really want to practice this method, I would recommend you not to bite off more than you can chew. Start with something simple like Tracer from Overwatch. And of course, it goes without saying that this method certainly has some limitation. It is certainly not suitable for some complicated hair structure. At this point, I believe I covered enough details for you to create some hair particle for your favorite game character. If you like this kind of format that go over the intricate details of every step you have to aware of, please consider to leave a like and share to your friend, and also potentially subscribe to this channel because I promise you I have more video to come in the near future. Last but not least, if you find any other optimal way of converting this polygon hair into the hair particle in Blender, please comment down below and share your thought. The way I animate the hair particle is just with some collision object, and if you want to know the detail of it, please comment down below. For now, I'm gonna show you the result that I got just using the Blender built-in hair particle system.